Kia ora, good evening. An investigation by the SPCA to review dog control procedures is being welcomed by the Invercargill City Council. The investigation follows a complaint from a member of the public concerning alleged injuries as a result of Council's impoundment of 2 dogs. ICC is currently following up on people with unregistered dogs. The dogs, which are the subject of the complaint, were seized after the owner failed to pay his registration fee due July 1 last year. 2 animal control officers visited an address to seize the dogs. A Rottweiler cross was compliant until officers attempted to load it in the truck, while the other dog, a Staffy cross, ran off and was later picked up 7 kilometres away. The complaint focuses on the treatment of the dogs by pound staff. Both dogs have been returned to the owner. Council's awaiting findings of the SPCA welfare inspector. A hearing is underway at the Invercargill City Council for public submissions on the fate of Rugby Park. The ICC released a report earlier this year with options to consider when making the final decision for the outdoor stadium, stating option 2 as the preferred choice.
Option 2 of the Council's report would see the ICC pay off the debt owed by the Southland Outdoor Stadium Trust and have ownership of the stadium transferred to the Council. The other options would see either no council involvement or a one-off payment to settle the debt. The council proposal has received 173 submissions, some of which spoke to council today during the hearing. Submitters speaking today had mixed opinions, with some adamant the council should have no involvement.
Well, the best way for them to pay off the debts is probably appeal to all the rugby clubs in Southland, because after all they call themselves the Southland Rugby Union, and get the clubs to contribute. I appreciate that for a lot of people rugby is a big game, and therefore the rugby people and their supporters should come and support the rugby union, not the city council, because there is an awful lot of other sports people around, and would the city council come to their aid and take over if they got into difficulties, because it could encourage others to go big and then get into trouble.
And some were passionate about saving the stadium and making it a council-owned facility.
I know that we've got ourselves in a bit of a hole financially wise, $716,000 I think. But at the end of the day, there's been other personnel trade their way out of difficult positions. I know that the ratepayer may feel aggrieved, but at the end of the day, it's what's best. And overall, what's best is the fact that Rugby Park and the Southland Stags, they have to be part of Southland forever. But they're the last generation, it's there for this generation, it's got to be there for the next. And from my perspective, that's the cold hard facts. I can't let it slip.
The council will vote on the fate of the stadium tonight and release a decision tomorrow morning. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
A female tramper that sparked a land and air search in the Manapuri area over the weekend has been located. The female saw a photo of herself on a Facebook page and immediately contacted Dunedin Police. She has been travelling the South Island after leaving the Manapuri area before her scheduled water taxi arrived. The search included a 30-strong team of volunteers from 4 southern areas, 2 dogs and a helicopter. Police are pleased the woman has been located safe and well. The ban by the Civil Aviation Authority that grounded all Robinson 44 helicopters fitted with a specific type of blade has been lifted. Helicopters fitted with Dash 7 main rotor blades were grounded last Saturday as a safety precaution following the fatal crash that took 2 lives at Lockyer River Basin near Queenstown last Thursday. Safety investigators at the scene were concerned about similarities with an R44 incident involving a partial rotor blade failure last month. However, testing has revealed the blade retrieved from Lockyer River failed due to overloading. Rod Price, CEO of Wanaka-based Helicraft, a Robinson 44 service centre, was concerned prior to the ban being lifted, saying some businesses could go under. He says the choppers are used agriculturally as well as for tourism and believes a satisfactory inspection program could help those who rely on it for livelihood. The ban made the 80 or so affected helicopters very expensive ornaments, but they can now get back into business. Stay with us after the break. We catch up with Southland's Young Farmer of the Year, plus awards for being family friendly. Welcome back. The New Zealand Institute of Economic Research's latest quarterly predictions show the New Zealand economy is in relative calm despite increasing global turbulence. According to the report, 2015 will be a year of contrasts, with the Canterbury rebuild beginning to fade and increases in the net migration beginning to drive growth. Growth for the year is looking to be a respectable 3%. Domestic demand in the country will be strong, but exports will suffer due to slowing growth in China and Australia, and dry conditions will dent rural production. NZIER says the Royal Reserve Bank of New Zealand cannot justify any interest rate change in 2015. Southland is looking to break a 10-year dry spell at the ANZ Young Farmer Contest this year. Winton sharemilker Stephen Henderson will be aiming to bring home the grand final trophy this year after taking out the regional finals in Queenstown earlier this month. We caught up with him to find out what it takes to be the Young Farmer of the Year.
I've been involved in young farmers for approximately 6 or 7 years in the Waitani Club in Gore, and I've been competing for about the last 5 years at district and regional level.
Is there a lot of training involved, or is it kind of all in a day's work?
Well, 60% is probably just sort of general knowledge and farm day-to-day stuff, but there is a bit of study goes in behind the scenes for the more technical stuff that you don't really do day-to-day.
So what would your average training day consist of?
Leading up to the competition, we were probably doing 2 to 3 hours sort of a night, just studying questions that could be in it. They're always the unknown if you get asked them or not, but you sort of got to be ready for anything. So leading up to it, 2 to 3 hours a day.
And what process have you been through already for this?
So we had a district final in Balfour, then we went to the regional final, which was in Queenstown, and now we've got the national final, which is in Taupo on the 2nd of July. So between now and then there'll be a lot of study on farming stuff that we're not too sort of quizzed up on regarding like sheep and deer and anything in between.
And on the actual day for the finals, what kind of competitions will there be?
It's in Taupo, so we're sort of just hedging a bets. There might be a bit of forestry, kiwi fruit horticulture. It's reasonably region dependent. In Queenstown there was a lot of horticulture through the orchards and grapevines, and so a bit of research on Taupo and just sort of hedge our bets and hope we study the right things.
Is there a physical aspect to it too?
Yep. The whole day is sort of, I'd say about 60% mental and 40% physical. And then when you get into the agri-sports challenge, it's probably 90% physical. Big variation, and then you've got to be sort of mentally prepared for the whole day too.
So is this quite a big opportunity for you?
Yep. You only get 2 cracks at doing the national competition. So this is the first crack, and you can only go until you're 31. So got a couple of years under my belt. Or it's still to go, so we'll make the most of it this time anyway, just in case we can't get there next time.
And what would taking out the finals mean to you?
Oh, it mean a hell of a lot. It'd mean all this effort pays off, and just a good recognition of what you can achieve, and going ahead, people sort of recognise you and opportunities come to your door.
The generosity of organ donors and their families helped the number of transplants reach a record high last year.
Figures released by Organ Donation New Zealand have revealed the number of Kiwis receiving an organ transplant rose from 175 in 2013 to 214 last year, an increase of 22%. These numbers include an increase in kidney donations from live donors, which is up from an average of 56 per year over the last 10 years to 72 last year. The government's 2012 budget allocated $4 million to raise awareness and encourage people to donate organs. Another $4 million was added to the cause in the 2014 budget. An extra $1.8 million is being spent over the next 3 years to fund the Clinical Research and Effective Practice Foundation to help overcome barriers to live donor kidney transplantations in Pacifica and Māori patients.
2 special awards were handed out in the city today. More on that shortly, but first, blue skies reigned over the region again today. Let's take a look at what's in store for tomorrow.
Your forecast on Q is brought to you by Environment Southland. Environment Southland wants to know what you think about our recreational water areas. Where do you go? What do you do? And your thoughts about the water quality. You could win one of 5 $100 vouchers simply by completing their survey. The survey will help them find out whether the water is being tested in the right places and how the service can be improved. Complete the survey online by going to Environment Southland's website or pick up a hard copy from Environment Southland, the Southland District Council, Gore District Council, Invercargill City Council or Public Health South.
And taking a look at our weather today for Tuesday the 24th of February. Early 20s for most of the country, Auckland coming in on 23, Wellington the same, Christchurch a high of 24 shared with Invercargill, Queenstown on 20 and 23 for Gore today. And tomorrow's forecast to early morning rain with fresh cool southerlies then clearing with winds easing. It is likely there'll be a few showers everywhere, 15 the high for Stewart Island, 16 for Winton and Wyndham. Overnight lows of 6 for Invercargill, Tuatapere and Gore, and 16s expected in Invercargill City tomorrow. And for Te Anau, 16 the high tomorrow along with nightcaps, and 15s forecast for Queenstown. And the marine forecast for Fovo, northwest 15 knots to southwest 35 knots, a southwest 3 metre swell becoming very rough and visibility will be poor in rain. For Pusiga, northwest 35 knots to southwest 35 knots, southwest swell of 3 metres to northwest swell 2 metres, and poor visibility and rain easing. In the long range forecast, mostly fine with light winds for Thursday, cloud increasing on Friday, scattered rain developing and northwesterlies turning southwest later, mostly cloudy skies on Saturday. Two Invercargill businesses have been officially branded as family friendly today at the Invercargill City Council.
Both the Invercargill City Library and Chipmunks Playland have been awarded with a Friendly Brand certificate which acknowledges their commitment to families and the community. Friendly Brand is part of the Child, Youth and Family Friendly policy adopted by the ICC. The brand was rolled out in 2012 and has since recognised businesses for their effort to make their facilities child and family friendly. In order to receive the Friendly Brand, businesses must go through a process to ensure they meet requirements.
We had to go through a process where they checked out the facility and made sure we had baby changing facilities, healthy food options, smoke-free centre, or smoke-free facility, the fact that it was safe and secure environment. They came into the centre here and had a look around, and a lot of it was just going through sort of the facility and checking that we had the minimum requirements, so it was quite a simple, straightforward process.
And did you have to change anything about the facility?
No, we didn't have to make any changes at all. The facility was there and they came in and saw it exactly for what it was.
How important is the family-friendly seal of approval to your facility?
Oh, I think it's very important. I think it's great that there's going to be that public awareness that anyone who sees that Friendly Brand on the window will know straight away that we meet that criteria. Oh, I think it's very important. I think it's great for the council to be driving these sorts of things, and it just makes that awareness there that they're sort of out there in the community sort of working alongside people.
The Invercargill City Council said it's proud to be taking a leadership role in the Southland region by developing the Child, Youth and Family Friendly policy and the associated brand.
Next up on Sport, Tom catches up with Southland Sharks assistant coach Mark Bell ahead of the NBL. From the news team though, it's good night.